The following video is brought to you by RaptorsAirsoft.com. Hey guys, Angus here, got another Airsoft product review for you guys. Today, as you can see, what's on the table in front of us is not a piece of gear, it's not a gun, it's actually a part, an external upgrade if you will. As you saw earlier in the video, this was sent out to me by RaptorsAirsoft.com, and they mainly deal in internal and external parts. Pretty solid, reputable retailer. They were very kind to me when they were sending this out, so be sure to check them out. Now, this is the Super Shooter aluminum CNC machined M4 or M16 metal body. It's both an upper and lower receiver, and as I stated earlier, it's basically an external upgrade for your gun. Why would you want to buy this? Well, let's say you have a plastic bodied gun, say a Sportline version. You really like it, you don't want to go out and buy a new metal, all metal AEG. You want to stick with it, maybe upgrade it. It was your first gun, you had some good memories with it. Well, the first thing you can do is go ahead and start off by replacing the body, and you can do that right here with the Super Shooter aluminum body. This is about $70 retail, by the way, if you're interested in purchasing it. Now, as you can see, it's obviously black. It's rather nice. On the field, the majority of the guns I see are black. I did not see a tan version listed on their site, so you guys are kind of out of luck, but the paint job does look rather nice on it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on the logo on the left side. And there you have it, just a quick look real fast. As you can see, it says Super Shooter. Appears to be some sort of archer firing an arrow. It's actually painted on there rather nicely, bright white, and then again this is right out of the box, but looks rather nice at the moment. So yes, that painted on logo looks rather nice now, but upon further investigation you can tell it's obviously just painted on. No engraving, and believe me, from my experience over the years of reviewing guns, handling different guns, I can tell you it looks nice now, but it will fade off eventually. You play with this gun, with this body on your gun for a while in some different weather, eventually it's going to fade, grow fader and fader, maybe even eventually rub off. So it looks nice right now, but eventually that's going to happen. Not necessarily a big deal unless you're super in love with how it looks on your gun. Back onto what we actually care about, which is the build of this body. Again, it's made of aluminum, CNC machined, and the main advantage to that is, well, it makes your gun a little bit more durable if you had this metal body on there, as opposed to a plastic body. Main advantage being that, say, you take a spill in the field, drop your gun or something, those plastic bodies, sometimes they're going to crack. And don't say it never happens, because I've seen it happen plenty of times when people are running those plastic bodied M4s or M16s. The advantage with the aluminum, obviously that's not going to crack unless somehow you maybe run it over with a very heavy truck or something like that. I wouldn't recommend trying that unless you feel like throwing $70 down the drain, but it's fairly durable and obviously going to be more solid than your plastic bodied guns. The only real disadvantage I can think of, maybe it makes your gun a little bit heavier, but hey, my opinion, that's a small price to pay for a better durable gun. Now, one thing to report about this body is that I didn't really see any seams on it. It's made rather well. There might be a very small indentation of a seam in front of the mag well, which I'll show you in just a second, but otherwise it appears very nicely made. As you can see, no real seam at all where you'd normally see a big one on some of your cheaper made bodies and some of your cheaper AEG clones out there. So it's actually built rather well. You don't have any of the ugly seams looking on there. Here's a little bit of a closer view of the actual body. As you can see, it comes with all your essential parts on here. You do have your charging handle as well as your fire selector switch. Nice little tube here, buffer tube I believe, for the attachment of your stock on your gun. The opposite side of the body, you'll find your dust cover as well as your forward assist. Obviously all these various different holes in there for when you attach this to your gun, you'd screw pieces in, your magazine release would stick out of here. So you get pretty much everything that you're not already going to have with your gearbox and everything else. So this is actually a very solid body, not to mention you do get the 20mm rail up top. That's always an advantage if for some reason you have a gun that doesn't have the rail on the top of it. Now, this is obviously a very piece to install onto your gun. My main dilemma when I heard they were sending this out to me is I don't have an M4 to put one on. But I do have an M4 with a metal body, so we can go ahead and compare this to that rather quickly. Alright, so now very quickly let's go ahead and compare the two upper and lower receivers that are on these two different bodies. The gun in the picture is my very own G&P M4A1 USMC Airsoft AEG. And if you guys know anything about Airsoft companies, G&P is known for some good quality externals. And I personally have to say, in all honesty, I like the G&P metal body better. Might be because I've used this gun for a couple years, very fond of how it feels, but I just kind of like it a little bit better, rubbing it down, feels a little bit nicer. Feels more solid, a little bit chunkier metal than the aluminum on the Super Shooter body. So really, I have to give it to the GMP. I just kind of like it better. Not that the Super Shooter doesn't compare to it. It's just I like the more solid and nice feel I'm getting off my GMP. I might just be crazy, might just be thinking that I like it a little bit better, but that's just me, and that's roughly the comparison of the two guns in my opinion. Otherwise, there's really not too much of a difference at all. They're two metal bodies. Alright, and with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the review of the Super Shooter Aluminum M4 M16 Body. Overall, it's a pretty nice piece of external upgrade, external piece, whatever you want to call it. Overall, I think this would be something nice that, say, you want something to replace the plastic body of your M4, I think you should go ahead and purchase it. Might not be as nice feeling as the GMP to me, but it still is a fairly nice quality piece. You get that bright white logo on there right out of the box. Certainly does look nice. Again, it might fade after a while. And overall, the body's actually made quite well. Really, no seams are showing. You get all the pieces you need on there. Fire selector switch, the upper rail, the charging handle. The only thing you're missing, of course, magazine, release, all that different stuff that when you slip the gearbox in there, it should feel rather nice. Give it a definite bit more weight than the hollow shell it is now. Overall, I think this is a pretty nice external upgrade for anybody's M4 M16, so be sure to take a look into it, as it's fairly priced at about $70 for a quality CNC machined aluminum piece. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe.